Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Price, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the third volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Laura Hamstra as Eli Sharp, and Della Borovic as Morgan Rawls. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band's race is underway. Attikus wowed the crowd with his athletics. Morgan attempted to flash a tattoo to the other racers. Valentyne discovered the Versailles and Kyros families might be aligned. And Eli found a servo-skull broadcasting Lizzo Lizardman's voice. But can Attikus win the race and the Duke's heart? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
From the Lizardman letters. This truly is the greatest. No, it's not the greatest, though, is it? It is an interesting race. Well, we shan't publish that now, shall we? Redact that. Consider, pull from the directory other words for great. Need. Yes, that will do. Yes, insert that one. Yes, very good. Okay, back to it. Please delete all notes. Continuing dictation now. We are entering the final leg of the race. We've got Attikus. You forewent your triumph in order to dramatically leap over a branch. Respect. And unfortunately, Morgan, you find yourself kind of off to the side of the pack, having not really had a good chance to flash the tattoo. You're kind of coming out of the rough onto the incline, and this is kind of just like a rocky, kind of like bad terrain situation as everyone like barrels up to the launch site. So we're gonna need one final set of athletics checks to bring us to the end of the horse race leg of the race.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that difficulty going to be?
Difficulty is going to be 4. This is a bad section of terrain. Del, I will offer you the same thing I did last time, which is by trying not to win, you can lower it to 3.
Great. Yeah, I think at this point it's not even trying to get ahead of anybody, just trying not to eat shit and get to the next part of the race. Yes.
Fair enough. Cool. Boost for good horse. Setback for tired horse.
Got it.
Boost for good at horsing.
Right.
Is there did you buy yourself an extra boost?
Attikus
Not
gave
this
me a
time.
boost.
I gave
Okay,
boost
yeah,
to
so you
Del,
can use
but-
that if you want.
Yeah.
Morgan?
Thank you.
Cool. And I think that's about it on my end.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. Let's go.
Okay. We're not worried. Okay. 5 successes, 1 advantage.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Attikus, he's so good at horses.
I mean, I'm sorry you didn't get as many advantages as you wanted, but
Those soldiers fell, negating a lot of threats.
okay, all right, fair enough. Sounds like money well spent. All right, and how about Morgan?
1 success, 1 threat.
Okay, given that you only pulled 1 success, you can only flash the scars at 1 air. Who do you want to flash them at?
Oh, they're actually over here?
I'm gonna say again, you're on a wacky run here.
Oh,
so
we gotta go with Voidstain. We gotta go with the guy
Voidstain?
who's got a cultish background. See
All right.
what that happens.
So looking, like willing Starkiller to just give it the last burst.
Yeah.
And also like Starkiller can see that there is like an end point ahead.
Yeah,
It's just kind of
done.
like a it's a living. Like force goes off. Okay. So yeah, you book it ahead, and it's just again like an adjacent thing where you can't possibly burn past
No.
Voidstein. He's doing really well.
Yep.
But with this last burst of energy, you can get up alongside him.
Great.
Cool. Okay. And then the threat, we will pass the disadvantage forward to the next, whatever the next roll is. Okie dokie. So you get up there and you unclasp the back.
Yep.
And you hear just like like an intake of breath, a gasp from Sakitar Voidstain. And he's like the horse stumbles because he suddenly like rears back on it. And he just like points at you, and again you're kind of like beside him and riding away, and just like eyes wide, mouth agape, and it's just like heretic. But there's too much noise around him as he's just like screaming this as people pass him, like they're just burning past him now. His all positioning is lost.
Who's gonna believe this guy?
And he points and yells, and then like kind of turns his attention back, and you can see he sort of panics and like whips back up to the horse, but like he is a panicked wreck now. As he rushes for his jet, which you didn't buy earlier.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good for him.
Attikus, what is the dramatic fashion at which you arrive at your ship?
I'm assuming, given that these are expensive horses and expensive ships, there are retainers or something like that to collect your animal.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna blast off, just burn the horse up.
Hop off,
yeah.
shoot the horse, get in the
Horse
plane.
just goes flying off in the wash. Yeah.
You land the ship, you shoot the ship,
Yeah, just delicately get the horse to board the ship. Yeah, as your co-pilot.
Look, in my head, as I said, I just wanted to see someone ride a horse up a boarding ramp, and then I realized it was too silly, so I stopped it. But no, that's in my heart.
All right, the fashion in which Attikus arrives to, I'll say, Smiggleton is there to receive Victrix.
Sure,
and stable him and put him in.
Yep.
Into his cart or whatever. Is that Attikus and Victrix do not slow down. Attikus goes side saddle and then is basically holding onto the horse with his powerful cybernetic arm and brings the earth up to his feet slowly and steadily, and then begins pumping his legs in anticipation of the speed, and he just hits it and goes.
Amazing.
And he's off right for Metal Fury.
Amazing. So Morgan, you'll be arriving like a turn later.
Totally.
But you're making it to your ship just a little before anyone else does. Guinevere is like hot on your heels, and she does a similar thing where she's like up on the saddle, and once she gets closer to the ship, she just fucking jumps off it. It doesn't like land in the seat, like slams into the side of it, and then kind of scrabbles up and pulls herself along and slides into the cockpit, into her racing skiff. And other horses are just like burning past the ships. Again, you have very good horses. Not all horses are very good horsos. So it's just like people, no. Whoa, just like burning up and over the hill. So a number of the other riders go up and over. There are other people trying to do cool things and just like missing the jet or like,
shit.
there's a lot of that because it really is just like a panicked
When
rush.
you say up and over, are they riding down onto the side of the hill? Or is there like a cliff that they're just going
No,
off?
it's a hill. It's a hill. This isn't like a. This isn't how Mufasa dies, It's this is just a hill. So then there's the awkward like turning around. It's like in a video game where you get the wrong way sign in the racing game, and you have to like awkwardly turn around.
And then another horse runs into them. This is why you shouldn't do these
Yeah,
races.
exactly. It's just generally bad. But Attikus, you're in your vehicle, and is flicking all the switches. It's powering up. The nice thing about these racing skiffs is they've all been built to kind of be flown by anyone. They're very, very user friendly because they don't need to do much. They really just need to be able to fly and land, and the landing is very simple. There's like an auto sequence you trigger when you go to land, so you're in good shape. Meanwhile, back at the stands, Eli, you have stolen a servo-skull to drop off a letter to Guinevere Balmsong, expressing Bobby Bobberstein's deep love for her, as written by Tristeus of Anakoth. However, you have discovered something rather odd about the servo-skull you stole with your triumph, which is it appears to be receiving a signal from Lizzo Lizardman, who is in the process of writing the gossip letter about this very race that you are witnessing happening live. What do you do?
Yeah. Is there any way to tell if this is the servo skull has been like programmed to receive this? Like this is the receiver, or is this interference?
You can roll me a tech use.
Yeah. Tech use. Cool. What's my difficulty?
I'll say a difficulty of 2. I think you've seen, like, servo skulls seem pretty ever present in Warhammer.
They're pretty
I think you've
ubiquitous,
seen
yeah.
enough, that you would know.
Yeah.
And ubiquitous was the word I was looking for, and just couldn't quite get
one of
there.
my
So
favorite
thank you.
words.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
So I was kind of bummed I couldn't find it. So thank you.
I mean, the challenge with that word is it's not ubiquitous.
All right, so
If you don't understand that joke, look it up. You still won't be satisfied. Have a nice day.
so I'm gonna say no. I can't think of any boost I would give you on this just offhand.
No.
I will give you one setback though from trying to do it surreptitiously. If we're just gonna keep going with the words, largely because again, like this is something you stole.
Yeah.
And I will say though that
Isn't Eli like hiding in the shitter though? Like, is he worried the toilet's gonna spot
I'm
him?
behind the bleachers.
He's behind the
Oh, that
bleachers.
makes more sense.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a
yeah.
shrub.
Yeah.
I've decided.
40K bleachers.
You're gonna spend a story point. You can have a shrub. No, I'm kidding.
No.
You have it for free. I will say though, also the Bobberstein servo skulls aren't as distinctive. Like they aren't as adorned as the Balling Song. Those ones are really done up, as are the Kings. These ones are much more of a traditional. Like they probably have like the family insignia somewhere on them, but they're not like gussied up. You know.
And we don't know if Lizardman is associated with the family.
You don't have any information at all about Lizzo Lizardman other than the reports and letters you've received from Hugh, and then the intros to the episodes that none of your characters get to hear.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I guess I'll just roll 2 threat.
Yeah, that's fine. But did you use your banked boost?
I didn't.
Okay, so keep the 2 threat and then just roll a single boost dice and see what happens.
Oh, wait, hang on. Those weren't threats. Those were advantage. I read that because I rolled another advantage. I'm like, wait, that's the same mark.
Okay, so 3 advantage.
It was 3 advantages, not 2 threats.
All right, so
What a fucking twist.
what's a twist? This
I'm
episode
really
was
bad at
directed
reading
by
symbols.
M. Night Shyamalan. All right, so
I'm really glad that you had me roll that because we had gone forward thinking those were threats.
yeah, it just explodes and kills you. And it's like, joke's on you. It was a happy explosion. So because you didn't roll any successes, you aren't able to ascertain whether it's
that's
been
fair.
tampered with. But you are like conscious of it. You've clocked it with the advantage. I would say, you can silence it enough that you could just like hang on to this thing if you want to take it apart later. Or you can send it on its way with the letter.
I
You want to have a think about it? You don't need to.
This is hard. This is hard for Eli to make this decision.
But Eli has to because Valentyne is elsewhere and everybody else is on a
know.
race.
And Ked Redwick is still on the ship, so there's no one to help. Important player character.
I think that
Your nose is full of the smell of bush. What do you do?
the thing is, if he takes it back, if there's tracker in it, that's not great. And I think he has to get this done. Fuck. Eli writes in his journal later.
It sounds like Laura also writes in her journal later. This is a nice combination of human and character.
Yeah.
This is where the circles touch in the Venn
Yeah, that's
diagram.
right. Yeah.
Eli will. God damn it! He'll use it to send the letter.
It flies. You put it like jam it between the teeth, and its little like servo arms click onto it. It picks up, takes off, and flies away, taking the secret kept within with it.
I know. He's just like, oh, but no, should I?
And off it goes. All right. Meanwhile, Valentyne, I don't know that there's anything you would be doing at this point other than moving across. But I just want to check in with you in case.
I don't know if there's anything else he's going to spot of use in the crowd. I think at this point he is just a servant going to a place. This is just blend in, don't get noticed. Pray to the emperor that Attikus can fucking keep being impressive. He's doing well so far. It's just like the moment Attikus gets into space, Valentyne's like, oh, this does not bode well. Like this is not his half of the event.
Correct.
Well, let's see how that half goes, shall we? Attikus, I'm going to need a driving check, please. This is going to be difficulty of 4, just because it's takeoff and landing are going to be a bit rough. In space is probably pretty fine.
I thought you said landing was a button.
Yeah, the landing button piece is fine. It's the coming back through the atmosphere piece that's a little
got
touchier.
it.
It's like once you get closer to the Earth, you don't have to
He's not going to crash a die.
They don't trust a lot of aristocrats to be like, oh, I bet I can pull off this landing. They're like, no, once you hit a certain point, you push the button, you shut the fuck up. But like coming in through the atmosphere is definitely a part of it. So let's see how you do. Should also say these things are fairly foolproof. So it's not like you're rolling to see if you like immediately die. It's more so just like how slickly do you pull off the takeoff sequence. So difficulty 4, you get a boost from this thing being built specifically to be flown by aristocrats. So it's easier to fly. Yep. That's what I got.
Considering that riding a ship is kind of like riding a horse.
Okay, you know what? That's a real fucking stupid idea, Ryan. But you know what I'm going to give you because we love Victrix so much? That horse looks at you as it like rides past, and it just like gives you a look of like, we did it. And you know what? That makes you feel good. So fine, you can have your fucking horse confidence.
Yay! Horse confidence!
Take a boost. Because damn it, that horse and you really, you had a thing going there.
I won't look Victrix in the mouth on that one. I am happy to accept.
God.
Shut it down. Wrap the show.
Shall I roll?
Would you like to spend a story point, sir? Would it make you feel better if I spent one too, just so that you know there's still some in the bank?
It would make me feel worse, actually.
That's why I asked.
That, for the record, your feelings will not stop you from doing it, Tom.
No,
He doesn't have that
I'm just
power.
being honest with you about my emotions.
I understand. I appreciate that. I'm not going to
Okay.
this time.
And I'm also not going to.
All right, we stay at 3 and 2.
So this is the biggest gamble so far in terms of like positive to negative dice ratio, but it's not impossible. Okay. 1 triumph, 1 success, 2 threat.
God damn it. Attikus is on fire. Like, Tyler, we should stop playing. We should go to Vegas right now, bud.
Horse confidence.
Go to Vegas.
Horse confidence.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hello, Luxor Hotel. Do you have any games with the Genesis dice?
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know how, but if we looked at those dice, we would see that one boost die has a triumph on it.
All right. So you just turn it over. Just horse stomps the ground. It rolls over one more time.
Horse just veins in its neck. It's struggling so hard and raises the hoof, and then a fucking thumb comes up. Somehow.
I told you they were
inexplicably.
alien horses. They can have thumbs.
The ship kickstarts. The engines don't quite go. Victrix kicks the side. Flames shoot and fucking goes.
It's just a proper Chewbacca gambit. All right, yeah. So the ship fires to life.
You have a meaningful picture of Victrix on the dash, like World War II when they have their spouse.
Me and this horse have had a whole thing behind the scenes.
Yeah. All right. The engines kick to life. And Farley Finegrove was true to her word. This thing is ugly, but man, it fucking kicks. So immediately you just like slam back against your seat as the boosters kick in. And it's still wobbly. Like, you're not a great pilot, but it's like a pretty decent takeoff. And again, you just got a rocket strapped to your ass. So it's like you can keep it steady enough. And because you're out ahead of the pack, you don't need to worry about other people slamming into you. What do you want from your triumph?
To be memorable. So Attikus is accidentally corkscrewing on takeoff. The
crowd goes fucking wild. Like, again, they fully attribute this to like ace flying, rather than you struggling with a joystick.
Yeah.
And like an arm that's too big for the.
Plus, I use the wrong arm to pilot. It's like, oh no, I need the delicate one.
Yeah. Okay, so you're corkscrewing as you go. The crowd is going nuts. And again, like, your rivals are so fucking mad. Like the Van Houten doing, not all of them. Like I'm looking at Trinimus, so it's just Trinimus. Trinimus is so fucking mad. As he gets into his ship and like takes off, Guinevere Bonsong takes off like behind you. She's not doing anything fancy. You can tell she's actually like gunning for your position now. It really is like she's sort of like flying in, but it's a bit of a Top Gun situation where she's kind of like arcing around you a bit in kind of a like giving you space, but she is doing a little bit of fancy flying while still trying to cut ahead. And then meanwhile, the rest of the ships start taking off. Some of them are like vertical takeoff and then go. So there's a lot of different qualities of takeoff. Some of them are real bad. There's a lot of like, glorified anti-grav vehicles that are just kind of struggling to make atmosphere. But you are off and flying. Morgan, you're going to be coming in the next cohort here, but let's see what happens with your drive check, please.
All right. What's the difficulty?
Difficulty of 4 for takeoff, please.
All right.
You do not have horse confidence.
Nope. That's for sure. Have horse tiredness.
Yeah, I will.
You have a setback because your horse doesn't like you.
I'll give you
horse resentment.
I'll give you a boost for honestly kind of taking your time since you're not worried about winning anymore.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a bum's rush. I'll also give you a boost for this thing being like a vintage vehicle. It means it's going to handle like shit, but it will kick hard. So for maneuvering in space, it's going to be real bad. But for like take off in a straight line, pretty good.
Great.
I can't think of any other major things to throw at you here.
Eli's sigh of wishing he was driving a ship right now. I heard it across the universe.
There's a lot going. Eli's having a lot of feelings. He really wants that servo-skull back.
It just gets smaller and smaller on the horizon.
It's like, fuck, I made a mistake. Oh no. It's all getting away from me.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
He's having a
All right.
rough
That's
run.
the opposite of horse confidence. We want to be clear.
Servo-skull.
Man
names.
regrets.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, let's see the roll, please.
Great. And it's just Toby's in here with me. He's just perched on something. We're just going to space if we can. 1 success, 4 advantages.
Hey, not bad at all.
I'll take it.
So this thing like guns up. The engine roars. It very much sounds like a muscle car engine, so it's just like a screaming engine. And it's a bit rocky on the takeoff, but like it certainly gets you there. And it handles like a bus just because it's built that way, but as well as that bus could handle. Like this thing it's not maneuverable, but it does feel smooth, and clearly like a lot of work and care has been put into it. Guinevere didn't fuck you over. She
that's nice.
Yeah.
I paid all of my money for this.
You did, and you got quality. All right, so you're off in again, sort of the secondary cohort. Looking out the side though, you see Sakitar Voidstain like keeping pace with you, and just like looking across, he's speaking into a Voxcom. In his ship, and then he floors it and starts to like pull out ahead.
I think I would I would record it with Toby just to keeping all this evidence together. Send back to Valentyne.
Fair enough.
What happened?
All right. So they are all off and running into space. Valentyne, just checking in with you. Still observing.
Nothing he can do right now. This is just praying abjectly, like watching Attikus launch. Mildly panicked. Attikus nails it. Shocked but still stoic face. And the moment he's out of sight, I think Valentyne is literally just standing there looking at the sky, praying to the God Emperor that this goes well, because there are points in missions where it's out of your control, and that is when you were meant to pray. So he's doing it.
Great. Okay. Let's deal with space. Attikus, you burn through the atmosphere and kind of rocket out into space. Despite having done this a few times, like we've established, like space isn't really like you've been in. Most of your space travel before was in a box that was like a military box where you don't look out. So there is kind of like something kind of magical to this, and also just that kind of silly classic moment of like whenever a ship bursts through the cloud barrier, and it's just like, oh, like we're here. But you got a job to do. You're damn good at doing jobs. So let's get a drive check, please. There's gonna be difficulty 2, and that is literally just for like maintaining, your speed and trajectory as you start to do laps around the planet.
Just for flavor and just imagining how this is playing out. Racing horses, there's a terrestrial track or path to follow. How do we know where to go when we're in these ships?
There's basically like I think honestly for all of them it's likely programmed in that you've got like a little like
a GPS almost?
Almost, yeah. That's just kind of like it gives you like, but in that more of like the Star Wars or like Terminator sort of text screen where it's not like a fully like here's your map. It's just kind of like there's a rough barrier, almost like an old arcade game. If you move to the edges of it, you get like warning beacons, but it really is just kind of like if you can fly a straight line, you're good.
Okay.
So
like
just
a
kind of
drag
stay
race
in the
portion.
lane. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have my dice pool of my driving and 2 difficulty, and I got rid of the boost for horse support.
Yes, horse confidence is
Horse
done.
confidence, thank you. I have another booster. I can't remember if that was a consistent
it was
one or
ship
not.
quality?
Ship quality.
Ship quality, yep, that
That
stays.
stays. Are you adding anything else into the mix or?
No, honestly, I think like it's weirdly it's almost easier to fly out here because you're just in 0G and again you have heavy boosters on the back. There's not a lot of maneuverability. It's just gotta go like Sting.
Okay. 1 success, 1 advantage.
All right. So you take off going. You can pass the boost along if you'd like.
I think I'll hang on to it here. This is not my forte
With
compared to using strength.
With only 1 advantage, you can't choose. So you can
Okay.
you can burn it on something like I can give you a minor narrative advantage right now, or you can just pass it forward. To the
I
next.
apologize.
No worries.
A little worried about fella screaming heretic and then chasing my friend through space. So I'll pass a little insurance boost over
Okay, so it'll just move along to the next
onto
check,
the next,
which will probably
which I'm
be
assuming, yeah.
Morgan, yeah.
Cut to Eli, who's like, "Ooh, I do need to poop.
I mean,
Can I poop fast enough?"
if-
I was like,
If that is how it happens, then I wish Eli well with his poops.
Roll LeBron to squeeze it
It's
out.
just Eli thinking about checking his shotgun, and he's like, "Oh, how to clean a shotgun?" I was like, "Oh, good thing I got this boost." All right,
Doesn't even roll. Just thankful for the idea.
yeah. All right, Morgan.
Yep.
You are again like in the middle of the pack. Attikus is like taken off and away. Ahead of you can see him. You can see Guinevere in her ship.
Yep.
Tritimus is gaining speed. His ship is very fast, as you'd imagine. Kyros is like fucking around. He keeps doing that thing where he just like edges close to other people's ships and makes them pull off course.
Yep.
He doesn't
Fucking
really.
dickhead. I don't know why that hit me so hard, but I do not like him.
Well, there goes that ship, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at. What do you do?
Yeah. I think I'm just trying to stay close and keep eyes on everything. I gotta just stay the course at this point. I can't do anything fancy while in this ship. So
Cool. Let's do a driving check. Difficulty 2, 1 for good ship.
yep.
I think that's it for me.
Okay. 3 advantages, 1 threat.
Wait.
3 successes, 1 threat.
There
So
we
my brain
go.
is melting now. Goodbye.
It's fine.
Goodbye.
Okay, someone reboot Dell. All right, so cool. That's a goodly amount of success with obviously 1 threat.
Yep.
So I'm going to pass the threat along as a disadvantage onto whatever the next roll is. With your successes, you're able, like, basically with Kyros fucking around and everything else that's going on, you're kind of able to get back into a better position. You're still trailing Guinevere and Attikus by like quite some,
Yep.
but you're not as far back in the pack. Ahead of you, we do have Voidstain kind of pulling out a bit ahead, and like Tritimus is floating kind of in the mid pack. So ahead of Voidstain, behind our heroes. Yeah, so that's kind of you're keeping speed, and you're flying through space.
Very good.
You know, just everything Morgan loves, just being exposed in a ship out in space. No vents.
Yeah.
Just driving.
What a great time.
Yeah, what a great day.
What a
bonny day.
wonderful time.
Yep. Attikus, I'm only going to need 1 more roll from you in atmosphere before we go for landing. So let's see how we do. This one is difficulty 1. You're just flying outside now. You're well ahead of the pack. Same deals before.
Okay. Same pool.
Yep.
Minus 1 difficulty.
And I'm sorry, you will have 1 setback from the threat from Morgan's roll, which I think is just people starting to like close ranks on you.
Wow, that's insane. I re-rolled that specific die and it came up blank. So
Great.
fortunately, my original roll remains. Triumph, success, advantage, 1 of each.
Oh, this boy.
Listen, you don't need to make advantage for any of us. Cash it in.
Yeah.
All right. So I assume just cash it in for.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
A little zhuzh.
Yeah, great. Love that. Okay, so we'll deal with that in a few minutes. Morgan,
Yep.
from what you're seeing, is there anything you want to be trying to do here, or is it just like still make an impression, knowing that you're not going to be able to win the race? What do you want to do in the mid pack?
I was just imagining Morgan like pressing the tattoo on the glass and like
that's not-
honking a space horn to try to get attention.
So weird.
Just
Honk honk. Tattoos pressed to the glass, trying to pass Kyros or
depressurizing
somebody.
the cockpit and just out in space, lifting up the back of your shirt.
I was picturing like mooning at a car window going by somebody.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah,
yours.
yeah.
I'm saying, let's pop the roof on this thing. Let's get crazy.
Just like flies back into the atmosphere and very slowly skywrites it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I think it's still looking out the windows with Toby, seeing if there's anything I can catch from the way people are acting. But we just gotta not die in space.
Not dying in space seems like a good rule.
Is Toby in the ship?
Yeah, Toby's in the ship with me.
Weird. Amazing.
Like, here's the out of the ship.
like-
He can't fly in space.
Yeah,
Stay down. He doesn't have anything here.
Look, it's
he's
like
helping
Grogu.
me look at things.
We've established that splits your vision.
Yeah, that's how I like to be.
Yeah, she's good. She's good. She's doing her thing. Let's get it.
But they both have the same vantage point, so it's like double vision, but on top of each, it's like one
Just, like,
vision.
extra right.
Give me difficulty 1. Your drive scores. I will honestly, after all of the chuckles, I'll give you a boost for Toby. He's giving you some extra visibility. Yeah, boost for good car. And go ahead.
Yeah, and if you want to get sentimental with it, Toby is also named after a dead person from the ship who was like a little alto style techie boy.
Oh,
So it's like he's just there for emotional support. I don't have horse confidence, but I have Toby confidence.
I don't
All right.
You don't have horse confidence, you have bird eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
man, little tech boys don't
Dead
do great in
friend
this.
birds.
No,
this
they
game.
don't. They
Yeah,
don't
very
let. They're
squishy.
adorable and they give us memories. But they don't stick around.
Yeah. All right.
Memories.
Cool.
Okay,
Attikus
let's
doesn't
just
remember.
roll it.
Do you have a child? Yeah, I need some sad memories soon.
Go to space.
All right, we got
Dark.
three
Too dark.
three successes, 3 advantages.
Nice.
All right, good stuff. So, do you want to spend those advantage as a pass forward? Do you want to? I mean, you could force a target to drop something. So, do you want to like fuck with a ship in a minor way?
Yeah, let's fuck with Kyros' ship. If he thinks he can mess with people, it's like a swoop under donk and then
Yep.
moving on.
Give him a
Great.
donk.
Yep. All right.
Doing the big donk.
All right. So, you're gonna go fuck with Kyros. So you burn up alongside, and as established, you give him a little donk or a big donk, depending. But you basically jam one of the. I think probably just like. He's being really erratic, but he's not expecting
Yes.
anyone to fuck with him. So the minute you do fuck with him, it's just like Darth Vader getting shot, where it's just like the ship just corkscrews off, and like you can't
Overcorrected.
hear it, but you can see like fuck as he just kind of like spirals off into
Perfect.
off into space. But that clears you up. So now you're on a good trajectory.
Great.
Okay. We're coming in for a landing. So, Valentyne, this might be somewhere you want to actually tap in because now the floating platform is over with you again, and all the ships are coming in for a landing. So, is there anything you'd be wanting to watch for from the Duke, from the platform? Like, what are you
Just
after?
watching the reaction. Like, he just wants to keep track of where it seems like the vibe is. Because Attikus being amusing is one thing. Attikus being very showy for the whole race, pulling it off and winning while being an underdog with theoretically no political connections is like, how comfortable are they with this? Is it still fun? Does it stop being fun when the new guy upsets the natural order? I don't know. So Duke is his priority again. And knowing the king is next is kind of like those two. Just see where the reactions are.
All right, dig that. Eli, I assume you're still just watching. You've watched it disappear and are just kind of waiting on reaction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. You can go join up
Honestly,
with
like,
you can be
well,
near
you'd
Valentyne.
have to get the horse, I guess, because that's got to go. I don't.
There was nobody to get the horse.
Yeah, Star Killer is just
no
gone.
one was
just like
there,
rode away.
so it's like I guess like no one else is there to get the horse, so like he's got to do that now.
I mean, I would buy that Hugh could quietly collect the horse, given that he's secretly like he kind of knows the score, and if he looks around and is like, "Oh dear," like he wouldn't just be like,
Hugh, I'm in the middle of something. Get the horse.
"Oh, well, I suppose. And he goes over. He's like, "This is a very tired horse."
Yeah. So we'll make his way to the finish line with everyone else then.
Okay, yeah. So you can team up. You can like meet up with Valentyne. Okay, great. So Attikus, because you rolled so ridiculously for this entire thing, you do not need to roll to re-enter and land. That's going to be your triumph. How do you do any flourishes on the way in, or is it at this point just like land it safely and don't die?
I think because I'm not rolling for it, there's no like element of chance or like the chance for like another triumph to play or anything like that. So I think it's a pretty safe and standard landing where I'm trying to win a race.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So again, you're able to pull that off. You're able to engage the auto lander. That's all good. Valentyne, can you roll me a perception, please, for how this is being received?
Absolutely. What's my difficulty?
Difficulty of 1. Honestly, you're in a good position. They're really close by, all things considered. You've had time to kind of plan this and get it set up. You get a boost for robot eyes. You get a setback, honestly, for angle.
Okay.
And I'll give you an additional boost for having observed the Duke and the King long enough to have a sense of kind of, you got a good enough idea of their tells that if they're disappointed, you'll know.
Alrighty, let's find out. That is a success and 4 advantage.
All right. So the Duke seems into this. He seems like now that there's an actual danger piece, he is much more like, you can tell he like respects the landing. He's watching it with, again, the same eye he was watching the race with, which is just like, yes, of course. Like, we don't fuck around when we're landing vehicles. The King is fucking bummed. It's just, he's gone from like edge of his seat watching on like the space feed to just like, they never stick the landings with these things. Like, he's just really, and like everyone around him is talking, but the Duke is still very engaged. Which I think signals to you just, again, the slight difference is like, King is okay with entertainment at all costs. Duke is like, good, clean fun. Like, it can be exciting, it can be thrilling, it can be like upsetting, but don't hurt the horses or the vehicles or the people.
Yeah, and then I would say with the advantage, Valentyne would like to pass 2 advantage off to Attikus, and he would like to do that by letting Attikus know exactly what he saw in terms of reactions, knowing that when Attikus gets out, he's probably going to have to deal with the Duke, the King, or both. So just like, here's the scenario you're dealing with. He'll just pass along exactly what he saw in his impressions so that Attikus can use that to factor into his next conversational gambit with them.
Cool. I like that a lot. So Attikus, you get that as the ship is auto landing. I think it just kind of comes through. Valentyne, is there any additional advice you'd want to pass along with that?
No. I think at this point, Attikus has improvised well so far. He doesn't want to tell him exactly what to do because he doesn't want him to stumble. Now it's more just like, he knows, like, own the moment, be memorable. That'd be the only advice, which has stood from earlier. So
dope. Okay, love that. Okay, so Attikus, you pull in safe landing
in preparation for optimistically winning the race. Attikus has his like officer's coat on the ship, so we went in shirtless. He's going to come out with it like draped over his shoulders, and he has a bottle of champagne that he brings out and just pops with like the thumb of the power fist, just one-handed, and is spraying a little bit and then drinking as well.
Amazing. All right. Like, applause, huge applause. The Duke is doing that like impressed standing clapping thing with like a little smirk, like clearly very taken with this. The King is suddenly right back into it.
Okay.
Still like a little muted because he really wanted to do something fancy, but like the pageantry of this is really working for him.
With the champagne bottle in hand, Attikus attempts to duplicate the subtle cheers between himself and the Duke.
Shit.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. You can have a standing boost you can use on your next roll in conversation with the Duke because like that goes over very well. That's like a surprise. Like he's very pleasantly surprised by it. He doesn't have a drink in his hand, but he's like very pleasantly surprised by that. And it's a bit like the post-meet cute moment where it's just kind of like, oh yes, there was something there. Interesting. So, and Valentyne, you of course are like watching him. So you see that happen. You like Attikus is nailing it. The rest of the ships are kind of like coming through the atmosphere. Eli, obviously you've joined back up with Valentyne. Yeah. And truly this is like a moment, Attikus, where like it's highly improbable that this happened, but like it really does seem like Greybeard is very much behind Lord Francois Van Houten, well, not the 16th because those are your dad, but like very much behind like the Van Houten redemption story. There's applause, there's excitement. Unfortunately, all that's a little bit overshadowed when Guinevere's ship crashes directly into the ground and explodes in a giant fireball, obliterating her and any chances of this being a purely clear win.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Brian LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Laura Hamstra, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum-Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. Christopher Little, Sue One, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG It's Big Nick, D&D and Things, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Flea Unit, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Nithrian, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia de los Hoodless, Diovasis, Loki Burrito, Squishy Werewolf, Remy, Funky Head, Nomad, the Wise Paladin of the Badlands, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.